Our weekly assessment of our economic confidence index looking, well, not all that great. For the week that ended Sunday, it's at a minus 29. Let's graph that going backwards. You'll notice that earlier in the summer, it was at about that level, or actually a little more negative. However, look in early September. At one point, we were to a minus 20. Now, that's good news. The closer to zero that index gets when it's in negative territory, the better. So as I mentioned, a little bit of a V-shaped phenomenon here where impressions of the economy on the part of the average American were getting better, and now they've edged back up into more negative territory. We'll see where this goes going forward, but our key is no signs of a booming, positive, really upbeat assessment of the economy on the part of the average American at this point. Now, what about jobs? Still in positive territory. I've been telling you that now for several weeks. Now, this is not great. We're at a +1, but notice if we go back week after week after week for about 6 weeks now, this index of employees telling us whether or not their company is hiring or firing has been at 0 or higher. That's good news, particularly when we look back further and see how negative it had been earlier this year. What about spending? That's the bottom line out of all of this, of course. We've seen some ups and downs. We were talking last week about that average $76 per day that had been spent. Well, that was not continued, unfortunately. Last week, on average, Americans spent $61. So that, again, back down where it was. My colleagues Dennis Jacoby and Jeff Jones here at Gallup.com recently did a fascinating analysis of the days of the week spending and also whether or not there's a paycheck effect, whether the spending goes up when people get a paycheck maybe every 2 weeks and then back down again. But our bottom line is, taken as a whole, we're simply not seeing the kind of upbeat spending that we saw last year. In fact, when we go back to last year, we see a fairly persistent pattern where spending was pretty good up through December. That would have been the Christmas spending season. And then it fell off a cliff last January. And for the most part, although there's been a little recent recovery, it's been negative all year long with no sign of sustained positive recovery back to where we were last year. That's our weekly economic update for you. I'm Gallup's Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief.